Imagine that one day you wake up and realize you are not actually living your own life. Every decision you have made, every sacrifice you have gone to, every mask you have worn, all of it has been only to meet the expectations of others. But inside there was always a voice, a quiet voice, muffled by the need for approval and the fear of disappointing. And then comes the moment, the precise moment when everything changes, as if a veil falls away and for the first time you see reality as it is. You have spent your life putting others first, forgetting about yourself. Carl Jung said that the most important journey we can make is the journey within ourselves. But choosing yourself is not easy. It means meeting your fears face to face, ceasing to please others, finding the courage within to say no to everything that does not reflect your true essence. And it is in this moment that true transformation begins. Today, I want to invite you on a profound journey. I want to show you what happens when you finally choose yourself above all else. It will not be an easy path, but one thing can be said for sure. After it, nothing will ever be the same. The first moment when everything changes in life comes when, without any warning, something inside you breaks. Looking at yourself in the mirror, you realize that you have lived for others for too long. You said yes when you wanted to say no. You suppressed your desires in order to meet the expectations of those around you. You sought approval instead of being yourself. You adapted to be accepted, forgetting about the most important person, yourself. And suddenly something happens, an internal rupture, an emptiness that can no longer be ignored. It is your inner voice finally declaring itself, asking one single question: what if I choose myself, even just once? This is a simple but powerful question because it is from it that your transformation begins. Carl Jung, one of the greatest thinkers of modern psychology, left us a profound message. The human destiny lies in discovering oneself. But this path to authenticity is one of the most complex because choosing yourself is rejecting convenient excuses and illusions. It is going beyond the usual limits where comfort is more important than truth. It is the courage to look inside yourself, to acknowledge your fears and vulnerabilities, and then, despite everything, to move forward. The revolution starts with the first step, with the first conscious no to what destroys you and the first decisive yes to what fulfills you. It is not a loud protest, but a quiet yet unwavering confidence that your life is your responsibility. You begin to choose not because someone needs you to, but because you want to. You choose an environment that inspires, not devalues. You choose a path that ignites a fire inside, not simply conforming to the expectations of others. You choose actions that bring joy, not just recognition from the outside. There will be doubts, fears, and losses. Someone accustomed to the former version of you will not understand and will turn away. But along with this comes an incredible sense of freedom to be yourself without regard for the opinions of others. And one day, looking in the mirror, you will see a person who no longer breaks under the pressure of the external world, a person who no longer lives for others, but finally lives for themselves. The second way the world changes is when you choose yourself. The first thing you will notice when you decide to put yourself first is the reaction of those around you. Someone will look at you with mistrust. Someone will feel threatened by your new confidence. Some will start to criticize, saying that you have changed, that you have become something else. But the truth is that you have not changed. You have simply returned to who you always were. The problem is that many are used to seeing you as convenient, ready to sacrifice yourself for them. Now, when you say no, set boundaries, and go your own way without seeking the approval of others, their usual equilibrium is disturbed. Not because you are doing something wrong, but because your transformation forces them to look inside themselves, and not everyone is ready for that. Jung understood this perfectly. When you start to live authentically, not everyone will follow you. But those who remain are the people who see you as you are, and not as you always were for them. Choosing yourself is not a betrayal of others. It is honesty, honesty with yourself and with the world. But the truth is that not everyone knows how to accept honesty, especially when it disrupts their usual order of things. They are accustomed to the old you, obedient, convenient, accommodating. They have to come to terms with their own limitations, but the world is not collapsing. It is changing shape. Something is starting to suddenly become empty. People who perceived you only through the prism of their convenience distance themselves. Perhaps there will even be a feeling of loss. But in reality, it is not a loss, but a liberation. Over time, you will notice that the space around you begins to fill in differently. Those who respect the real you appear in it, not your ability to please. Those who support you not for convenience, but for sincerity. When you choose yourself, the world adapts to your new version. You attract opportunities that previously seemed unattainable. Doors open whose existence you did not even suspect. You no longer have to fight for attention or approval. It is enough to be yourself, and then, one day, looking back, you will realize that you have not lost anything. You have simply found yourself. The third power is inner freedom. For years, you have sought approval from the outside. You have tried to be who others expected you to be, believing that only in this way could you earn love, respect, and recognition. But the reality is different. Your true strength has always been inside you. When you finally choose yourself, something incredible happens. You realize that you no longer have to prove anything to anyone. You are no longer afraid of disappointing, no longer afraid of condemnation, no longer afraid of not being good enough. You stop trying to please, you stop seeking approval, you discover the greatest freedom to live in accordance with your own truth. Jung spoke of individuation, the process in which a person becomes the most authentic version of themselves, not what society imposes, not what parents expect, but what is in harmony with their soul. The main consequence of this process is liberation. You feel lighter, stronger, closer to your true nature, because for the first time in your life, you are going in the right direction. You are no longer restrained by fears that have bound you for years. You do not live waiting for someone else's permission. You do not prove your worth because you know you are already valuable. And in this liberation, there is incredible strength. When you let go of fears and stop playing by someone else's rules, your inner world becomes stronger than ever. You are no longer disturbed by the opinions of others because now you have the main thing, confidence in yourself. And that is what happens. People start to respect you more than ever before, not for your compliance, not for your desire to conform, but for the strength that comes from you when you follow your own path. The world may still not approve of your path, but now it no longer matters because you are no longer seeking approval. You are simply going where you are truly happy, and that is true inner freedom. The fourth way is that the past no longer has power over you. All your past decisions were dictated by the fear of disappointing, the desire to be accepted, the need to please. But when you choose yourself, the past loses its power over you. You no longer need the approval of others. You are no longer afraid of being misunderstood. You no longer try to fill the emptiness from the outside because you realize the main truth. You are complete in yourself, and that is already enough. You stop dwelling on mistakes. There is no more point in scolding yourself for what was. You did the best you could with the knowledge and strength you had. You stop living in the grip of regrets. The past does not define you. It is only the road you have traveled, but not who you are now. You stop carrying the burden of other people's expectations. There is no longer any need to justify someone's hopes or conform to a picture drawn not by you. The past no longer dictates who you are. Now you do. You choose yourself not because you want to prove something to the world, but because you no longer want to betray yourself. You stop depending on old stories because you realize that the only story that matters is the one you are creating now. From this moment on, you live not for the expectations of others, but for your own truth, and in this is your true strength. The fifth way is that the universe responds with synchronicity. When you make an authentic decision, the world begins to respond. New people come into your life, doors open that previously seemed impossible, events unfold with magical precision. Jung called this synchronicity. You do not just randomly meet the right people. You do not just happen to be in the right place at the right time. It is a natural consequence of the fact that you are finally living in harmony with yourself. When you no longer go against your essence, reality begins to adapt to your inner rhythm. Opportunities that you did not even think about appear, and people who share your values find their way to you. You begin to notice signs that you would have previously ignored, random conversations that give answers to long tormenting questions, coincidences that are too precise to be just coincidences. It is not mysticism, it is the logic of life built on authenticity. When your thoughts, actions, and desires are finally aligned, the world responds to you in the same way. Synchronicity is the language of the universe that says you are on the right path. And the more you trust this flow, the easier the road becomes. You stop fighting for choosing yourself is often accompanied by loneliness. But loneliness is not the enemy. It is a chance to know yourself, heal your wounds, and create the life you truly want to live. And then something amazing will happen. You will begin to enjoy your own company. You will realize that you do not need toxic people, that you are no longer obliged to settle for less, because you have finally realized the main thing: you are already enough. You are no longer looking for salvation in the external world, because you have found it within. You are no longer afraid of silence, because in it are your real answers. You no longer fill the emptiness with random people, because there is no more emptiness inside you. Being alone with yourself is not isolation, but freedom. Freedom to do what truly resonates, to choose an environment that inspires, not empties. Freedom to be in harmony with yourself, not to depend on the opinions of others, not to be afraid of being misunderstood. And the most amazing thing is that when you are no longer afraid of loneliness, you begin to attract people into your life who are also whole. Not those who demand your energy, but those who complement it, not a half waiting to be completed. You are a whole person, and that is the most valuable connection you could ever find. A connection with yourself. The seventh is a choice that changes everything. Jung left us another important message. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens. The life you want does not come from the outside. It is born from the choice you make. Are you ready to make that choice? If so, this is just the beginning. But this path is yours, and no one can walk it for you. It is a path on which there will be no guarantees, no clear maps or road signs, no crowd suggesting where to go. But there will be something much more valuable, an inner compass that always leads you to the truth. You no longer live waiting for the perfect moment. You do not wait for permission, approval, or confidence in tomorrow. You simply go forward knowing that every decision you make is a step toward an authentic life. And let the road be difficult. Let there be doubts and moments when you want to turn back. Know one thing: as soon as you choose yourself, there is no turning back. Thank you very much for watching.